Hello, everyone, and welcome to Snowfell Charm School, where we use tarot cards to identify personalities, and we use personalities to identify relationship dynamics in regards to friends, families, and lovers. I did want to play some music today, but I wasn't feeling classical, so I was really feeling like, how would I describe it? Have you guys ever seen Devilman Crybaby? You know, all that, I wish I could play it for you, but all that type of music, that kind of like heavy metal, dark dance music. I'm really feeling that right now. I wish I could play it for you, but I don't know what copyright things are because I don't know a lot about I don't know a lot about things that don't have to do with tarot cards, personalities, or relationships. um, I kind of put all my brain into that, and aesthetics, and put all my brain into that. Um, yeah, I'm really feeling like the, energy right now. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna start with a security check. I think you're good, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm feeling real casual today. Um, I'm gonna start with brushing around your face, so stay still. And your ears. You got nice ears. If you could lift your chin to your neck and your shoulders, brush those broad shoulders off for you. I'm in a really good mood today. I'm gonna polish that up. I can't wait to do the reading for you. The shoulders. You can spin around for me. See that sexy back, bringing sexy back. I wish I could play that song too. I'm really feeling that right now too. I'm gonna brush the back of your head, back of your shoulders, down your spine. Gonna polish that up. I mean, like I said before, you're looking really good. So this is just routine. Okay, if you can spin back around for me, I'm gonna brush off your heart. Get a ball in that chest of yours. And then your stomach, so activate those abs. Okay, well, polish that up and we're done. Okay. I'm gonna offer you something to eat. I got popcorn for you like usual. Delicious. Oops, some fell out. It's okay. We got plenty. I'm gonna put that here for you. We got some candy for ya. Jingle jingle. Little candies. Delicious. Please have as much as you like. I got your drink. This is your drink. Here you go. It's real fancy, I got more. I know this isn't quite a lot in there, but there's more. And I got mine. So, cheers. All right. Anywho, now that you good, you comfortable? Great. Awesome. I'm gonna get into the reading. Like I said before, we're gonna lay out a case study. I did a whole bunch of videos already in this kind of style, and I was looking at it, and I was like, oh, what's kind of like crazy is like I kind of jumped into like doing case studies and stuff, but I didn't really like explain that I'm using tarot cards to do it in any of my videos, so I wanted to, say that. I like doing tarot cards. It's like reading a comic book or watching a movie or something like that, so you can get an idea of a character. And I like to apply it to, personalities. All my personality assessments are based off of the Big Five personality assessment. But I focus heavily on extroversion and agreeability because those seem like the social traits. Conscientious and openness is applied to your social interactions, but it's more of like a processing thing, like how you process the world around you. So those can they have an effect on your socialization, but I just kind of wanted to get to the meat of it before we add any of what I consider an extra social thing. I think that extroversion and agreeability wouldn't be traits if we didn't have a socialization type of like if nothing else in the world was here to interact with, you wouldn't have that. So I'm focusing on the interaction part. Let's see here. I also use the DSM-5 to look at the 10 personality disorders to get an idea of like how to identify personalities as far as how extroversion and agreeability, how much of that aspect is in a person's personality. And so then I use the DSM-5 to make alignments and get a better understanding of the how those combination of traits, the extroversion and agreeability, and the portion of each is displayed in interactions. And the DSM-5 does it with extreme cases. So this is like when your personality kind of gets in the way of you functioning in the rest of the life, which I think is a very interesting concept because the way that things are kind of set up, it's like our society is set up for only certain personalities and not for all of them. So I think there's lots of restrictions in other personalities like schizotypal or histrionic or antisocial. So I think that a lot of counseling, how do I want to describe that? Like like the goal in lots of therapeutic processes are to get you into a stable personality, but that's not practical for everybody because not everybody is going to have that same portion of traits. And so it's pretty extreme to ask someone to lower their extroversion to such a degree if their extroversion is high, or to raise their agreeability to a degree if their agreeability is low. And so, a stable personality is high in agreeability but low in extroversion. So they're a little bit they're very harmonious, but they lack like personal personality. Like it's almost like a baseline, I would say, but it is different. I saw 747 when I said that. It's not everyone can be the same, all right? And we got to accept that. So if you are like considering going to a therapist and stuff like that, pay very much attention to definitely understand your level of extroversion, your level of agreeability, and what that actually means. Extroversion just doesn't mean you go out all the time. Extroversion means like how comfortable are you being seen, how well do you want to be noticed, even if you don't leave the house or whatever. I mean, like if you post online, especially when it comes to like your own image, like selfies and things like that, you're likely high on extroversion even if you don't leave the house that often. It's more about your extroversion has to do more about like your exposure to things. And agreeability has a lot to do with how compromising you are, not just if you're nice, right? If you do want some, I would definitely do like your own research on it, but that's definitely how I'm basing these personalities off of. And if you stick with me, we'll work together to get a better understanding, and we'll work together so that you have a better understanding and I have I communicate it in a clear and simple way. Like I definitely want it to be easy to grasp. So I'll shuffle one more time. If I don't get any more cards, then we'll just stop. Okay, just stop there. The moon card at the bottom doesn't usually, the bottom card hasn't shown anything really so far. I can't really gauge who our client is with this, but I do like the moon card a lot. We have here, I'm going to say that our main character is going to be the Chariot. So this is going to be someone who's rather like independent. So this is likely this is someone who's rather independent. I don't know yet who that would be. Definitely not a dependent. Definitely not a dependent. Could be avoidant. Could be antisocial. Could be narcissist and obsessive too. Borderline, histrionic maybe. Maybe not social. Schizoid we had. So it could be a lot of things. This could be a lot of things. I think on the base we have the 6 of Cups and the 4 of Swords. So I'm kind of getting that this is maybe like an avoidant personality. 4 is all about settlement. Swords is all about type of thinking. So like a kind of calming idea. This is 6 is about return and Cups are about emotion. So this is very nostalgic. So this is someone who probably thinks about the past a lot. Maybe not so optimistic about the future. This is someone who doesn't do too much. They're independent and they don't like doing too much. So I'm thinking this is maybe avoidant. We also have the Elder of Swords. So this is someone who is very reserved in their conversation or their communication. They're going to be someone who is like kind of careful with the words. They don't always say everything. So again, this is giving me avoidant energy. And we also have the 8 of Wands. So yeah, this is someone who's like a little bit on the move, especially with the Chariot card. So this is someone who's not afraid to just kind of like leave things, not participate in things. Again, getting very much avoidant energy. On one side, we have the 9 of Pentacles and the Adult of Pentacles. So this is someone who's like agreeable, well-liked, like charming. Yeah, I would say avoidant. I think avoidants tend to be like the kind of cool guy, cool girl, like they're a little bit like, yeah, they're detached, Yeah, agreeability and conscientiousness for the Adult of Pentacles. Heavy on agreeability. This is someone who like knows like social navigation. Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking that this is rather avoidant. We also have the Child of Swords and the 7 of Pentacles, right? 7? Yeah, 7 of Pentacles. So this is someone who maybe like kind of like struggles to communicate. That's interesting. Yeah, yeah. This is, I mean, they pay a lot of attention. But I think when it comes to like, yeah, the output, like they know a lot. Yeah, they know a lot, but they don't share a lot. So this is someone who like might be rather like surprisingly wise. They're not really good teachers. They don't make very good parents, I would say. Yeah, they're just so independent and almost gatekeeping with their information. I think that an avoidant is heavy on heavy on the dopamine, especially because they're like rather mysterious. So people tend to equate that to danger, and they equate danger to sexuality or sex appeal. They are not very good at serotonin. They aren't going to make you feel comfortable, and this is again why I say they don't really make good parents. Um, or like they don't really make good family members. Kind of like period. Um, they they do not indulge in oxytocin. The only way to get the oxytocin to them is going to be through the parasympathetic nervous system, which is like more task oriented, which again is very dopamine um, based. You know, it's very almost animalistic, in which is like especially if this is a male, but like the like when a male bird does a dance for the female bird, or like bugs do this a lot. They have to like kind of show their worth before they can mate. I think it's very much the same thing when we talk about the parasympathetic system. If you are interested in someone who's an avoidant, definitely start giving them tasks that you would like them to do. This will bring you guys closer together. Um, if you are an avoidant, yeah, you're gonna be looking for a lot of dopamine. You're gonna be looking for a lot of dopamine. If there is no dopamine, you're not interested in. You kind of can't even see serotonin. You kind of have like a color blindness. I think that's a little bit kind of funny because we kind of like rush through. Like I didn't play any music. We rushed through the snacks or whatever. So again, I guess I'm picking up on that avoidant energy. um you're not pleased by courtesies or hospitality. You're not impressed by hospitality. You kind of like when you go to a party, it's more like a task, and instead of like something to enjoy. um yeah, you keep a lot of things inside, so you're not gonna have a lot of access to oxytocin. And yeah, you're not going to be very good to talk to. You're not going to be very good to spend time with unless it's sexual. So I think a lot like the narcissist, it is, I would say, like really go kind of heavy on your dopamine aspects of life. I think that's kind of, yeah, I think you would be kind of interested in being kind of like a drifter. I would definitely would not. I would definitely like if you are single and you do not have any kids. I would definitely invest in contraception. Right? Is that what it's called? Like birth control, um, condoms. Um, yeah. Yeah. If you're a woman, I would definitely you or like you get your tubes tied or a vasectomy. I think that having kids would be a lot of pressure on you. You won't be happy. Um, your kids won't be happy either. If you do already have kids, sorry, I guess. Um, yeah, I guess. I guess. Good luck to everybody. Um, yeah. Yeah, I think you're gonna be like you don't want a job where you have to stick to. I think you're more of a gig individual. Not that these videos are about job things, but I think it helps when it comes to interacting with people, like finding other people. If you are looking for a person as a avoidant, you might be looking for someone who like I think that avoidant is rather interested in obsessive people. Obsessive people are pretty straightforward, so that's really good for you since you're not really good at communicating or asking for clarification. Um, um, I would say that another avoidant would be okay too. But again, I don't think that this is, you're not, I wouldn't suggest that you pick lasting relationships. You're not the marrying type, I don't think. Um, you're like one of those people who play the field for like ever. If you are looking for a committed relationship, I would be stable would be good because you can be a little aloof or distant or maybe like gone for a few days, and the stable person would understand that. Um, the stable person might invoke feelings of oxytocin though, so I'd be careful about that. But I think that if you make it clear that you don't want to talk about yourself, the stable person would likely understand that. Um, a schizoid probably would be a good pairing for you. So I would say like if you know like a trade, I would definitely get into trades if you're an avoidant. And if you do like work at someone's house and they happen to be like single and like kind of like not, they don't have a lot of enthusiasm. They're very chill, but like, decently pleasant. I think that you guys could work something out. I don't know who in that case is going to be courting who because, I mean, I think as avoidant, you'll probably be really good at courting people, but you're definitely not good at keeping people. Um, if you are an avoidant and you have been in a long lasting relationship, I would maybe kind of check to see what responsibilities it is that's keeping you there, because I feel like it's not about your romantic relationship. It's going to be more about your responsibilities. um and this is what I mean by like conscientiousness and openness, which are the other two of the big five that I focus on. I only focus on the four. Neuroticism is something that kind of just bleeds into everything, and I feel like that's more of a reaction to the world than something that is a personality. I don't think that your personality, like, no, your personality is not depressed. There's no depressed personality. Like, I don't think so, at least. I would not be so bold as to make that claim. But or anxious. I don't think anxious is your personality. It's a reaction to the environment. So yeah, no. All of these personalities can be anxious at some time depending on the environment they are in. Um yeah, I would say yeah, I would say like, this is an interesting one. I guess it's gonna be a quick one, because yeah, I would say that, I mean, definitely you're probably gonna be leaning a little bit more towards you might be a good patron for sex workers. Um or yeah, yeah. Which could just be simply like going to the strip club, or you're gonna interact pretty well with individuals who are in the sex field. um and I would definitely go by the actual occupation and not what you think someone looks like, because a histrionic person's probably not going to they're not going to be very comfortable around you. And I feel like the avoidant histrionic combination is a little bit like serial killer aspect, when they're like, I was just watching Sarah Bailey. She's on YouTube. She does the Murder Makeup Monday thing. Shout out to her. Love your stuff. Love your stuff. Love your stuff. Um, Shout out to her. Um, she does a lot of, murder and mystery. So a lot of, I would definitely say the avoidant is a little bit under like Like a lot of serial killers show an avoidant type of personality because they're not very open about their internal world. Not to say that if you're an avoidant doesn't mean that you are a serial killer. That's definitely not the case. Any of these people can be serial killers. Um, or murderers at some point. I think the serial part, the continuous part, could be a little bit more attuned to the avoidant, and I think that's why serial killers are so very interesting, and why we have like um, people who profile. I think that's why that we have that, because they're not easy to like get into their brain. They're very mysterious. Who knows what's going on in there, and who knows why they do the things that they're doing? And I'm not just saying serial killers, but I'm saying avoidance. Again, this is not a critique on the avoidance out there. If you're watching this and you identify as an avoidant, then you just want to keep to yourself. The world is a little bit dangerous. It seems like to you, like your perspective might be that the world is a little bit dangerous for you to be open. Um, Um, there's gonna be a lot of personalities that you stay away from, just naturally. As far as friends go, I would say like another avoidant is good. As far as family goes, if you do have, oh, probably schizoid. Schizoid's probably going to be like your closest family member. That's going to be someone who doesn't really like leave the house. Um, who doesn't like, doesn't necessarily hate people but prefer not to be around people, um, which I think is kind of interesting for the avoidant, because you are high in agreeability, so you do want to be around other people. You just don't, your priority is to be low in your extroversion. So I think this is like, again, I think this is, it kind of explains like a motif of serial killers, because it is that they need to interact, but they don't want it to get, either they don't want to get too close or be in the relationship too long, so it's like kind of easy to just get rid of them, which I think is I mean, that is a 1+1 type of thinking. That's pretty straightforward. I do tend to like a straightforward individual, though an avoidant isn't my speed. I'm definitely one of the personality types that it doesn't get along well with avoidance. Um, yeah. That I feel like that was pretty harsh. So we are going to pull out some gratitude cards to see what about the avoidance that we should be considering. Um, uh, because the avoidants are a valuable part of the community. Again, I do not think that the world would be better without some of these personality types. I think that, and I think that even if I did think that, it would be faulty, and it would be like a waste of time, because there's no way to do that. People are still going to have kids, and kids are going to turn out however they turn out, and environments are still going to be environments, and we can't fix everything. So, um, I think that, I do think that avoidance can be a little bit. Well, let's pull out some gratitude cards. I do want to do a disclaimer on my videos, and I should have been doing this for my other ones too, but these are from my perspective, and I have a particular personality type. So how I describe these personality types are going to be at some level a form of bias. Okay? And that's why I use the Big Five personality assessment and the DSM-5 personality disorders. to get as much of an objective opinion about these behaviors as possible. Like, how I feel about the behaviors is my personal feeling, but the behaviors seem to be consistent in when we think about personality and personality traits. Just gonna move this to the side real quick. Got the Child of Pentacles coming out here too. I do think the avoidant has a much better time working than they do interacting with other people. Like, I think they enjoy working like co-workers. Probably your most comfortable form of interaction. And I do think that avoidance should work all the time, and I think that's why a trade is really good, because if your company goes under, you always have that skill. I do think that the avoidant energy is a rather masculine energy, just because extroversion is a masculine energy. Well, actually, you know what? Extroversion is a masculine energy, so I wonder why. Because the avoidants are low in extroversion. They do like people. I think they want to be understood, but they do not want to do the work. I think that they think that they might be so simple that it seems like there's more to it when there's not. I think that's something to think about. Okay, and I'm just going to, and we have the Ace of Pentacles at the bottom. So yeah, I do think that there is a lot of value there. It's like, it's very hidden treasure. It's a little bit frustrating. It's a little bit frustrating because how our, like I always say, and this might just because it aligns with my personality type, but you can't be appreciated for something that you do not show. So I do think that there's something to appreciate about the avoidance, but they tend not to show it. And I do feel like this is a pretty harsh critique compared to my other ones, even the narcissist one, but we got there. We got to like a positive ending with the narcissist. But we got the Three of Pentacles, which again, I think that, you know, you're very cooperative in a workplace setting, very superficial in the best way possible, I want to say, just to be nice. But yeah, you're a good coworker. You're a really good coworker because you're not bringing any drama. Yes, when things going wrong, you don't talk about it, you don't share it, you just kind of hold it in. You're pleasant. You don't. Well, are you pleasant? Like, you may be pleasant. I don't think you have to be unpleasant. I think you're pleasant. But you can get unpleasant when people try to like pry. You're like very you're very private. Yeah, you're very private and detached. But you're very private and detached, but I do think that you like people in a general scope. So yeah, I think that if you, well, okay, let's see. Get back to that serial killer news. Sorry, that was my phone thinking that I was. Yeah, I do think, because I do think that a lot of this is not about serial killers. I promise. I promise this is not about serial killers. But I do think that it's very interesting in the way that serial killers who are serial killers, like serial killers who like kill a whole bunch of like sex workers or people of a specific like when it comes to serial killers who kill in a fetish sense, I feel like avoidant is probably a really good one to describe it. I think that their agreeability is placed heavy into dopamine. Um, but without the oxytocin, without the ability to promote oxytocin, they can't see people as actual people. I think that you might have like kind of like a like if you're not a serial killer and you're avoidant, I think that you might be a little bit humanitarian, but almost in the sense like you kind of want things to be better for everybody, but like it's almost like not practical. Like there's nothing you can do about it. You're almost like a little bit too scared to um, help, basically. Um, or insecure or something about that low level extroversion, like you're maybe exhausted, maybe you've already been exhausted from your previous experiences or what have you. We have the two cups here, so I think that you do want to have like a close relationship. Again, that agreeability, but you want like a close relationship to someone you can always like kind of come back to. Like again, like if you're like, it's like gives me that song like I'm in love with a stripper. um it's giving a little bit like that, where like you don't like go home to your partner, you know where they are and you go see them every once in a while. It's very much like that, like a very like it's almost like a situation ship or like an off and on. It's like when I'm in town, you might avoidance probably are really good. That's probably not the best way to say it, but I think an avoidant is like a candidate for cheating. Um, because because it's like they have their own life, their own responsibilities. It's like I think sometimes avoidants make their familial life, like if they have a wife and kids or a husband and kids, that you know whatever whatever gender you are, you might see that as work, and then who you actually fall in love with is the person who has like their independence, and you just kind of like see them every once in a while, which again, I can see why a avoidant might be attracted to a histrionic individual. Um, yeah, but I do think that the histrionic person is going to feel like it's going to be kind of like a blow to their ego, their identity, their confidence. If you're just kind of leaving them, like if you keep them as a side chick or side dick, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what the male version of that is. Um, so yeah, there's gonna be like, and I would say like two with the two of Pentacles is very much like a you're juggling your it's almost like your professional world and your personal world. Do you like to kind of have a separation of the two? Yeah, you kind of like to have a separation of the two. Um, so like again, this is like someone who who won't get divorced but will keep someone on the side. Which there's plenty of people who want to just be side chicks, like, and I think that this would be a good one for like if you did have a good job and you made some money, like a sugar baby would probably really be really good for you. Oh, actually, that makes a lot of sense. I think that maybe a lot of sugar daddies and sugar mamas are avoidants. So they like to have something like kind of like on the side. It's very much, oh yeah, it's very much the concept of like when people don't interact with people for a long time or whatever, and then they go out just to kind of like prove that they still can communicate. Kind of like that. Um, we also have the Four of Cups, and this has to do with Yeah, boredom. Like you can like you don't want you want the separation. You don't want to have a boring, completely responsible life, but you also don't want to be wrapped up in a whole bunch of emotions and someone else's personal world and things like that. And I think that's something that we should respect. And then maybe if we did respect it, then we wouldn't have so many like serial killers, so much cheating and all that other stuff. Like if you're an avoidant and someone's pressuring you to get married, cut them off. And I think that would be really easy for you to do as an avoidant. Um, Oh, but well, actually, I think it might be actually kind of hard. I think that avoidant has a hard time cutting people off. They just kind of shut down. They want to stay there, but they don't want to like participate in a deep emotional way. I think that, wow, this is crazy. So, if you're watching this and you are in a relationship with an avoidant or whatever, can maybe think about like, is avoidance for poly people, or is polyamory good for avoidance? No, no, it's not. Because poly suggests a little bit of a intermingling of like it's like poly is a little bit more like having two relationships, and I think that an avoidant wants like almost like one, but half of it belongs to someone and the other half belongs to another. Like the dopamine belongs to someone who is like rather distant from you, and the responsibility, I guess, the conscientious part of being in a relationship, it has to do like they want to have like a wife and a family and things like that, but they want to give their dopamine to someone outside of that family. Yeah, they don't have fun in their family. And so I guess, well, I I don't know how we're gonna get everyone to kind of like accept that, because usually when you get married, people have this idea that you guys are gonna be like this, but you want to get married and you're a little bit like this, just so very close, just not touching. Um, But and I feel like as an avoidant, you probably go through a lot of cognitive dissonance. Um, because it must be hard to balance, but like to balance those two things, to juggle those two things. You probably feel like a bad person all the time. So I'm really sorry I went hard on the critique here on you. My bad. I did not realize what you were going through. And see, I didn't realize what you're going through because you didn't tell me. So I'm over here doing all the work, and I'm sure, you know what? I don't take back my sorry because you had me do all the work. I had to do all the work, I had to do all the work. It's not like you told me and I wasn't paying attention and had to apologize. No, I had to apologize because I did all the work. No, stop. Stop it. You need some help. No, I'm just kidding. You don't have to be different. I don't think you have to be different. We also have the Ace of Cups here. So yeah, you're filled with a lot of emotion, and you just kind of just want to put it in two different cups. You just want to put you want to be a little bit organized about it, I suppose. Which I think is like, it's kind of crazy because then when we get into like, oh, ah, the dynamic of having a spouse and um a side piece is kind of, I feel like, the dynamic for you when it comes to relationships, which is like, uh, okay, what personality would be okay with that? I think that a histrionic might be okay with that if it was very clear that the histrionic was the only one getting your dopamine, so they could feel special about that. I think that as far as a spouse, I think that stable would make a good spouse. They'll probably be able to do the work and probably won't feel too will probably be patient enough to make something work like that. Um, I think obsessive could also be a good one for that, for a spouse. And I feel like they'll give you lots of parameters to go by. Like, okay, you have to do this, and you gotta get checked. You gotta get your STI. You gotta get an STI check every so often. You have to be home by this time. Um, um, I go like they go on they you pay for my vacation. I go on vacation. You can stay here and be with your side piece or whatever. I think that could work. I think that could work. Yeah, I think that could work. I would say like you're looking for two people, and you're looking for an obsessive, and you're looking for a histrionic. I bet you no one's ever told you that you're looking for two people and was like kind of okay with that. I bet you've never heard anyone say that. Unless you're watching this and you're lucky enough to be in a situation like that, then I would say for you that's really, really good. Um, Definitely when you're looking for a side piece though, please, please, please avoid a dependent. Do not get mixed up in dependent. It will go crazy. It'll go crazy. Lots of things like I heard people talk about how like their their parent, one of their parents had like a who was in a relationship with someone. Sorry, I have to hold my face like this because of what I'm about to say. But they had like a parent who was dating someone, and they committed suicide. I don't know if you're allowed to say that on YouTube if they unalive themselves. Um, And I feel like if you're an avoidant and you get caught up in a relationship with a dependent, that's something that might happen. And I would definitely avoid that. Again, because you already feel like you might be a bad person. You don't want that. You don't want to add that to your roster of things to feel guilty about. If it does happen, though, if that has happened to you, please, please, please feel I want to assure you that that is not you, but the dependent. That's their decision. All right, that's their decision. I mean, I would definitely try to avoid situations like that. You can avoid situations like that by knowing who you're getting in a relationship with, but that's not your fault. Okay. Yeah, that's not your fault. Um, What else we got? We also have the Child of Swords again. So yeah, this is like little bits of communication. So I mean, if you, uh, I don't know. It doesn't seem like. I think you know what. I think maybe the family life has to do like your spouse will have to do with a lot of serotonin. So a nice family life, a comfortable family life. I think that is what you're looking for, a comfortable family life. And you probably should be in a relationship with an obsessive because they are going to do all the work because they want it to be just the way they want it to be. So you won't have to feel a lot of pressure to think about how things are going. Um, and they'll probably ask you to do things which will help you develop like an attachment to them. You're gonna feel attached to your spouse, but your dopamine goes to your side piece. This is so interesting that I'm promoting this. Um, but you have to be able to exist in the world, and I do not see with the elements that I have here in my notes. Do not see another way for you to do this. You can't deny the other half of you. You can't deny either half of you. Yeah. I think that's really, really crazy. I definitely would say that if you're an avoidant, I would definitely get a trade, and I would definitely be really good with your money. All right? Because you're going to have to use that money to take care of two people, basically. At least one of the obsessive one is going to demand that you take care of them, and as long as you do, then I guess you can have your side. I mean, it depends on the obsessive, of course, but I do think that as long as you keep, as long as you don't shake things up by with like a divorce or some type of embarrassing exposure, which I think you would avoid anyway, because you don't want to be exposed for your personal life or whatever it is. Um, so I think that if you pick a good um, side piece and they don't try to expose you or shit talk your spouse or whatever, then I think that you'll be pretty good. You'll be pretty good. I think that if anything, these videos are for you. As far as like the personality assessment goes, I think that that's an aspect that that's a skill that you want to pick up from this video. Oh, I didn't think that this was going to be a long video, but it's already 50 minutes. But yeah, that's what I would say for you. I would say you don't really have to go heavy on you don't have to go heavy on promoting dopamine, oxytocin, or serotonin. You're kind of like you're gonna be looking rather like normal, casual. If you have to wear a uniform for work, it's a uniform. If you have to wear something professional for work, it's just a regular suit. Nothing special. You don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to be fancy or particularly hospitable. I mean, definitely your obsessive spouse is going to do all the hospitality for you, and your side piece is only there to um, absorb the dopamine that you give them by giving them attention, which I think is why a histrionic individual would probably be good for you. This is so crazy. This is so crazy. How do I feel about that? Hmm. 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 I hmm. I do think this is probably like spoiler. I'm histrionic. Um. But I do think that this. I think that I would probably want a different type of relationship, but I can't say that that would be inconvenient. You know, I would. I could say that it wouldn't be inconvenient on my side, but I do think that some other personality types are going to be a little bit better for my personality type. Although it's something much better than a dependent, that's for sure. So yeah, I'm over here giving some harsh critiques for the avoidance, but hey, hey, I can't say that we wouldn't be a good match. I do have some criticisms for you, but I don't see why I don't see how we could. I definitely think that I mean I am going through the process of understanding avoidant, but I think that an obsessive is probably going to be that's going to be more crucial, especially in the dynamic that I was describing. It doesn't matter what it doesn't matter how understanding I am because it has nothing. You know, your life has nothing really to do with me. Um, your night might, but as far as your day to day goes, the person who needs to know how you feel and what's going to be comfortable and like kind of like yeah those aspects about you is going to be your spouse. That's going to be your spouse, and You know, and I would say for my fellow histrionics out there, if you're thinking like, oh yeah, that sounds fine, please be careful because you don't know whose spouse is who and what they're gonna do if they find out who you are or where you are or what's happening or whatever. I would definitely, it's a little bit of, and I kind of that's the reason why I personally, even though I identify as that person as a histrionic personality type, I definitely would be I definitely would not give myself the advice to be okay with that. Um, because like I could be okay with the avoidant person, but who the person's attached to, that's luck of the draw, and that's a little risky. That's a little risky, and I definitely value my peace more than anything. So, if you're a histrionic person who enjoys a little bit more drama, then I would say so. I would say that avoidant would probably be a good match for you. But if you're histrionic who wants a little bit more of a chill, like kind of comfortable life, I do have at least one. I have at least one other personality type that I think that would be a good fit. I should be a matchmaker. I should be a matchmaker. Like from pour the tea. I should be a matchmaker. I should be a matchmaker. I bet I'd be really, really good at it. I bet I'd be really, really good at it. 5555 when I looked up there, I saw. Yeah, I would. Charm school matchmaking? Charm school where when you graduate you can do a matchmaking thing. Oh yeah, especially depending like, oh, that would be so fun. Imagine if that was a thing. There aren't any, I don't know if there are any charm schools here in America, definitely not anywhere near me. And if at the, you know, if they also provided a matchmaking thing like a okay Cupid kind of thing, that would be great. I could teach you how to do your hair, what shoes to wear, everything that really counts to be popular. Oh yeah, I think that would be super fun. Oh, I'm so excited about the idea of that. I'm so excited about the idea of that. That would be so good for my research too. Like the more people I like help, the more feedback I get, the more oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, should I move to LA and open a charm school? LA. I don't know. It doesn't have to be LA. It doesn't have to be LA, but yes. Yes. Pour the tea. Yes. Yes. Sorry, this isn't about me. This is about avoidance. But I'm sure as an avoidant, you'll probably be glad that I'm not talking about you right now and I'm talking about me. See, that's why I think obsessive and histrionic is kind of really good for you. Because they're the ones who are going to be talking about themselves without involving you. Yes, I'm good. I'm good at this. I'm good at this. If you'd like to be match made, leave a comment. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know how I'll set something up, maybe like an email or something like that. Um, if you're interested, if you need like some relationship advice or anything like that, if you're currently in a relationship and you want to know like maybe you're some options, there's always options. Okay, there's always options. Even if the option is continue doing what you're doing, that could be a thing. But yeah, yeah. Okay. That's all I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you didn't enjoy the video, then that's totally your choice and I completely respect it. I hope that you have a wonderful morning, day, afternoon, evening, or night. If you do not wish to have a wonderful morning, day, afternoon, evening, or night, that's totally your choice and I completely respect it. Until next time, guys. See you.